Good Packer Nation morning, guys and dolls. It is Thursday, and Packers got a big one coming up. We're going to be talking all about it. But first, there's some news out there. I know some people are happy about Christine Michael signed to the Packers off the waiver wire. And yeah, you can give me a thumbs up or a heart if you are happy to have another running back, possibly a serviceable, maybe a really, really nice pickup by Ted Thompson out there. And not only that, but we just happen to be first on the waiver wire because the Vikings wanted this guy too. Good morning, Ricky. Gustavo is here. Paul is here, says, oh yeah. Yeah, this could be a nice pickup. I really like this. Now, I'm going to say this. Tim is here, Vince, and Matthew as well from Arizona. Good to see you, buddy. Jennifer says good morning. Brown is here, and Kathy. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of people out there were asking me, to be quite honest, should we pick this guy up? Should we pick this guy up? And like, generally speaking, my immediate response, and you guys, thumbs up me if this is what you were thinking too, but my immediate response to it was, Ted Thompson's not going to pick the guy up anyway, so we might as well not even bother getting our hopes up. Well, lo and behold, and I talked about this on my other show, I did a Out of Breath Arm Sore Packer Minute that I put on YouTube, and I talked about this on that show. Lo and behold, Thompson pulls it off. I mean, for crying out loud. Hello, Jason from Kentucky. We got Riley from Australia. I was telling all the Australia folks, one of my good buddy Trey Hensley's in Melbourne. He's cruising around. He actually posted a picture on Facebook of the car wash / sushi bar. So with kind of like, I don't know about this. So anyway, look Trey Hensley up. If he's nearby or within driving distance, he is well worth one of the best guitarists I've ever seen. So Billy said he knew it. He called it. Billy was one of the ones that was talking to me about this. And yeah, this guy could be a nice pickup going down the stretch. A couple of things I mentioned. Eddie Lacy has talked this week about his hopes for coming back at the end of the season. Well, there's several things sort of playing to that. One, can Eddie Lacy even be healthy by that point? We don't know what the timeline is. We don't know if that can happen. Number two, is that the choice that the Packers are going to take off the IR list if that is a possibility? We don't know that. Ted Thompson. Number three, will Eddie Lacy be in any kind of shape at that point after not being able to run, not being able to practice, not being able to do anything for this long? And number four, will the games even matter enough to need it to want to bring Eddie Lacy back and put him in danger by that time? At the same time, we don't even know if we're even going to be in any kind of situation where it matters at that point. So, however, in the meantime, Christine Michael could be a major player if he can get his feet under him. James Starks, again, I'll say it. I've said it every time I talked about James Starks. I was glad we signed him back, but frankly, he is not having a good year as far as I'm concerned. I gave him credit this morning. I said, I'm pleased that he came back sooner than a lot of the coaching staff thought he would be able to, so you got to be, the guy is getting out on the field. He's doing the best he can, but he's just not himself. He's not a dominant player. However, Michael, I like him. He can bring the load. He doesn't quite bring as much of a load as Eddie Lacy. However, that might be a good thing because the load that Eddie Lacy brought was a little bit of a problem too at times. He's not a super nifty guy. He's not a speed burner. About 220 pounds, I think, 221, somewhere around there. But he's got good vision. I like his vision. He's able to see the backside when it's there. This is something that becomes an opportunity for the Packers' offensive line because, again, now our offensive line is going to struggle to stay healthy down the stretch, it looks like. We're going to need to be able to run the ball with a traditional running game, and we haven't been able to have that all year, basically, since Eddie Lacy went out. So he's, in traffic, the guy is a 2-foot cutter. He's different than James Starks. He doesn't put 1 foot down and go. He's a 2-foot cutter. He can make people miss. He's funny. You watch this guy, and he's anything but nifty. You just would not use that term, but he gets the job done. He can make somebody miss. I got a good question rolling up, and I'm gonna talk about that right now. Layla's asking about Bakhtiari and Lang. Lang is in the training room. Don't even expect to see his face. I don't. Bakhtiari was limited, I believe, or did not participate. We're going to talk about the injury report in a little bit. Really bad deal. But one of the worst injuries we had in this game against the Titans, on top of the injury of our pride, right? I mean, that's our pride injured as much as anything else. But Jake Ryan, and the question was asked, do you move Clay Matthews back to the inside in the absence of Jake Ryan, who also did not participate, and I don't expect to see him? And it's a great question. And I'm taking a little bit of time to think about this because you get caught on the horns of a dilemma. Because my initial response is yes, Clay Matthews can play the position. We've got a couple tight ends that are good. I mean, look what Delanie Walker did to us last week. It's no cakewalk this week either. That Washington, you got a litany of players for Cousins. Out there. You got Pierre Garçon, you got Jordan Reed, you got Vernon Davis, Jameson Crowder, I think is the other one, and then Deshaun Jackson may be back. He was a limited participant in practice. So this could be a dangerous game for the Packers, and it's a critical game. So Clay Matthews, I think, is as effective on the inside as the outside. However, the big key to stopping Cousins is not letting him stand in the pocket. When you get him on the move, you get him shaken up, he can make mistakes. But if you don't get pressure on, then he's got enough weapons to tear you a new one out there. So getting that pressure is incredibly important, and that's where Clay Matthews from the outside tends to shine. I think our defense can handle the running game of Washington without Clay Matthews on the inside. I think this may be the time for Blake Martinez and Thomas to get in there and do the job and let Clay Matthews, I would be tempted to move him inside from time to time, but not keep him at full-time inside linebacker in this game. We're going to need pressure, and we are not getting to the quarterback. The minute Clay Matthews wasn't on the field, we saw it disappear. And Chris saying, we need a pass rush. We do. And, I think that a guy like Martinez, because even Clay Matthews he's not fantastic covering tight ends. I mean, he can do it. But, it may be time for Martinez. That's half the reason we drafted the guy, was he had some speed, he had some length. So I'm going to say, if I was Dom Capers, I probably would have in the scheme, I would have a few snaps for Clay to move inside, because they do that from time to time. But to answer your question, I mean, like I say, the initial response was we probably better move him to the middle because, Jake Ryan was responsible for more tackles than anybody on the team at this point. It's an extremely important position. And it was a real positive to see inside linebacker taking that over rather than our cornerbacks and our safeties having the most tackles. And then the minute we get that sort of squared away, there goes Jake Ryan for who knows how long. And Arturo and my buddy Rick, if he's out there, will agree. He likes Martinez. And I said, it was Jake Ryan that's really been holding down the fort in there. However, Jake Ryan's a second-year player too. Martinez, you got to give credit where credit is due. This guy has come in. First year, he's a rookie out there still. Well, they say he's not a rookie anymore, right? It's mid-season, but, and Billy says Clay's a beast inside. I think what we need to do is the best thing we can do is keep the Washington offensive line and Cousins from knowing where Clay Matthews is going to be on any given snap. We're going to continue to disguise and do some of these kind of pre-snap things. And I want to see Clay cross to the inside underneath Daniels and get a sack in this game. And I think we're going to see that. Andrew from Pewaukee, Wisconsin. Good to see you. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting game, guys. This is obviously extremely critical game. We don't know, one of the things we certainly don't know right now is how much time is Michael going to get on the field. I mean, they're going to try to get him up to speed as fast as possible. And they're able to do a pretty good job of that with Niall Davis. But then, of course, it's not like we ever saw the guy again. It's not like we saw him when he got out on the field either, because he never got a chance to really do anything. Andrew's sending me coffee. All right, man. You rock. Big shout out to Andrew. It's Packer Perk Coffee. I'll bring the package online and we'll see if we can track down. I think he sent me the website as well. It was a while back. because today I've got, just your regular old stuff. I've had too much coffee, though, today. Holy smokes. I walked to the store. Will Michael play Sunday? Johnny's asking. I expect that he will. I mean, to some extent, it's running back. You're not going to want the cat to be in there and pass pro, on third and long. But if he knows what gap to run to and can take a handoff, it's time to press him into service and see what the kid can do. Now, that said, I don't expect him to be a major player in this game, which is critical, all right? I'm getting way off script, and that's okay because you guys are making great comments, and that's what I love about this show. Because I'm gonna say this, and you guys, all right, you can thumbs up if you agree. If you disagree, that's fine. I don't think anybody's going to angry face me because it's not something to be angry about. But I think, we're going to need, I think Michael is going to need a little more time to show whether he can be a serious asset on this offense. He's going to need a little more time in the offense, okay? So my thinking is this game is Aaron Rodgers' game to win for the Green Bay Packers. If he that's what I said this morning. If he plays a fantastic game, we've got a good chance we can win this game. If he falters, really at any point, I don't think we win this game. I think this is Aaron Rodgers' game to shine. And I think it's going to amount to, because again, you don't know whether is Josh Norman, are they going to put him on Jordy Nelson, or are they got him and putting him on Devontae Adams at this point? I'm expecting he'll cover Nelson. I'm expecting Devontae Adams will have a good game, but again, there are going to be times, and we've seen the back shoulder pass start to come back a little bit. We've seen Aaron Rodgers get in a little more of a rhythm. But then we saw last week on the first series after the onside kick, we saw the missed pass to Randall Cobb, and that ended up in a punt, which ended up in just barely a touchback, which ended up in a 76-yard or 75-yard touchdown run right after that. So these sequence of events go really fast. And I think Aaron Rodgers has to shine in this game. I think this is his game. Yeah, and we've got, I'm sorry I missed the name there, buddy, but we had a comment from a Seahawks fan that said you can have him, apparently, talking about Michael, that he's inconsistent. And sometimes, I mean, as a Seahawks fan, who that isn't Marshawn Lynch is going to be considered consistent on that team? They're spoiled. So I'm going to give this guy a serious shot right now. He can do some good things because, listen, half of what a running back can or can't do, it has to do with the offensive line. Our offensive line was doing a good job. Now we're decimated with injuries again, I think is the big risk. If our offensive line could get healthy, this kid's got a chance to make a difference, especially at Lambeau Field in December on real grass. I think he's a serious threat. He's got to stay healthy. He's got to be consistent. He's going to have to prove it. He's got to prove it against James Starks. But I think this is an excellent pickup because it's a guy that can push James Starks, and if he excels, we need him. So we wanted to talk, I think somebody was talk about the defensive backfield. Watch out. A lot of red flags. I assume you're talking about our defensive backfield. These comments roll pretty fast. I am extremely nervous about what Washington can do to our beat-up defensive backfield right now. If we continue to fail, it's not a great way to say that, but if we can't get pressure and we can't get in Cousins' face, if he can stand tall and distribute the ball. And they are basically making a living on just getting the ball out, making safe passes, and when Cousins is not hurried, he's making good decisions. Now, you hurry the guy up, you force him to roll out, you got somebody running him down from behind, breathing down his neck, and he will make mistakes. But he's got enough. Look at the litany of weapons this guy has got. So I am expecting, this is what I said with the Titans as well. I said I cannot see our defense keeping the Titans off the board. It was one thing that came to be way more true than even I thought it was going to be, unfortunately. That was partly because we played just poorly. Okay, so if we clear some things up, I think we'll be all right. But the main key to me on defense is, and we have seen it go away, we have to get pressure on the quarterback. And especially now, because we're going to struggle to stop the running game without Jake Ryan. So we've got to get that short up. That's always job one. We got to force him into that 3rd and long. We want to get him in passing downs. But if we don't get there, if we don't get home, or at least get a hand in the face, it could be a really long day. And again, that's part of the reason that I've got in the back of my mind that this is Aaron Rodgers' game right here. Because, we don't know what we've got in Michael. We don't know what we've got in Starks. We can't, we can't seem to run the ball enough to even find out what is on our team at this point. We don't know what we have in Ty Montgomery. He's had a few really brilliant plays. But, when after some tape's been laid down of this guy playing out of the backfield, is he going to be able to consistently create the matchups we want? Is he going to be able to beat the one guy in open space, which is basically what you're asking a running back to do in the NFL, over the long haul? And especially, we think we already have the answer to, is he going to be a pound the rock kind of guy? No, he's not. So we will see how that goes. And Willie's saying we've got weapons too. Well, not too many left. We've got, all teams are doing right now is making sure they take away Jordy Nelson. That's why Adams has so many targets. Randall Cobb is so dinged up that our receivers have had trouble getting separation. We have no running back situation, period. We can't even run the ball because we go behind. We can't play. We need to play from ahead for a change. So yeah, we have weapons, but they're not showing. Frankly, they're not playing as well. If you look at the way the Washington Redskins destroyed the Minnesota Vikings, jumping up 14-0 on them early, picking apart that defense. And we've seen flashes of that lately, but we certainly haven't seen it consistently. All you have to do is look at the scoring in the 2nd and 3rd quarters, and you know that our offense has not been able to be consistent. And that goes back to my point that this is Aaron Rodgers' time to shine, this game. Because then we buy ourselves a week. We get a chance to prepare for our final road game of this stretch. But I think it's his game to give us a W. Like I said, if Clay Matthews can go, which, looked like he's limited participant, but it looks pretty positive. He's going to help for sure. But with Jake Ryan gone, it's not like the defense is going to be 100% no matter what we do. Ryan says we have weapons, but they're broken. Yeah, it's really sad. It's one of those things that we just seem to see every single year. And we have the salmon versus pink shirt going on. The debate continues. Jared's the salmon man. Jared, go see my buddy Trey if he's anywhere near you. Trey Hensley, look him up. Best guitarist you'll ever see live, I can promise you. He can do anything. All right, we need bees, says Sherry, for Clay. Yeah, but this is going to be a tough challenge, I think. All right, so I'm glad I've got another day to think about predictions, because is anybody else out there need another day to think about what your prediction is going to be on this game? Because I so want to be positive. However, I so think that this team needs to prove it once, and every time that I've kind of jumped on the bandwagon and said, listen, I am just going to pull for these guys because I know that they've got the personnel to do it. And they've gone on and kind of laid an egg. All right, Jared, depends on if I'm working. It's getting hectic. Yeah, work. Just call in dead. That's what I always recommend to people. I think a good thing to do once in a while is just to call in dead. Hi, work. Yeah, I'm not going to make it. I'm spending the day dead. And then just say, like Douglas Adams, I'm doing it for tax purposes or something. And then have a fun night. All right, cool. How long before Shields comes back? Never, probably. I'm thinking, Richard. They can pull one guy off IR, and it may be Shields. I would prefer and expect Eddie Lacy. But like a lot of people, I wouldn't be surprised if Shields doesn't end up retiring. He has just taken it for a long time, and it becomes dangerous for your future. So, all right. Well, okay. I'm gonna try to get back on track because I have all my cue cards up, but I do like the signing of Michael. I do think he could provide a spark, and like I said earlier, I like the guy's attitude. And you get a guy that's got a little bit of attitude, and coming from the Seahawks, the Seahawks seem like the team that everything just seems to fall in place for somehow. No matter how they start out the year, everything falls in place for them. And guess who we're facing on December 11th at Lambeau? The Seahawks. Now, this is a team that just recently defeated the Patriots, I believe. And the Packers will have a lot to prove if they're going to even be in the game against a team like that right now. But of course, the Packers Super Bowl is Washington, period. Plain and simple. Well, and that's what we mentioned, that, bringing back, there's no guarantee that bringing Lacy is going to make any difference by the time he can come back, because we may not even be in it. If we don't get it together this week, we could see it fall apart very fast. However, as of right now, we are still in it. Will the Packers do like they did against the Titans and just come flat and have so many bad plays, so many negative plays? I certainly hope not. But just even beyond that, even if we don't play, let's say we play, we don't make all the mistakes, you still have questions to answer. On defense, we have questions to answer. Are we going to be able to get to the quarterback? Because we haven't seen that for 3 weeks. Are we going to be able to cover at all? And the question that arose last week, which had as much to do with mistakes as anything, but are we going to be able to stop the run moving forward? I think we get back on track with Washington in terms of the run game. Jerry says this is the biggest game of the season. Yeah, this is the Super Bowl for us. I mean, every week, 1 week at a time, we're playing our Super Bowl. This is how it feels to me anyway. On offense, can we develop a serviceable run game, traditional run game? This is important, and you'll hear Mike McCarthy said it. Aaron Rodgers, having Aaron Rodgers be the only guy that scored a rushing touchdown, what a huge red flag for an offense. And if it weren't for the fact that we got absolutely blown out against the Titans, I would still be kind of riding the party line that, listen, this team is beat up. If we're in games, it's an accomplishment. But this is the Packers team. We're not playing to be in games. We're playing to win games. That's what we play for every time we step on the field. And we're not winning right now. John, you think we should just give up? Absolutely not. Not ever. I've said that about every day for the last couple of weeks. You won't ever hear me say that. You don't ever play for a draft pick as your Packer. You don't ever play for a draft pick. I'm going to repeat that. The feed went nutso. You don't ever play down. I mean, teams may do it, but what I'm saying is that's not ever our attitude. Jerry's saying we need to play 2-minute drills every time we get the ball, and I think we do. I think we need to mimic what Washington was successful against Minnesota by going out, having an up-tempo, but I'm not looking for up-tempo and shot plays. I'm looking for up-tempo but manage the clock at the same time, and then also be able to develop that run game out of the short pass game. Now, we've seen Mike McCarthy a little more in the recent past willing to throw across the middle to Randall Cobb. Had Aaron Rodgers not missed him in the first series against the Titans, that game could have been a different game, because that would have been a first down. We could have driven the ball. Maybe we score then. That takes away that rushing touchdown. Maybe you get some things squared away. It could be a different game. That game got out of hand so fast. And Richard says, whatever happened to the no huddle we played in the past? Yeah, I want to see our up-tempo, like our little muddle huddle that we do, and throw in some of that no huddle. The thing is, I don't want to hurry this game along. I want to have it up-tempo without, and I want to still take time off the clock. So I don't want to play the edges too much in this game. I want to see us not be afraid to, if Jared Cook can go to throw across the middle, if Randall Cobb throw across the middle from time to time, yes, it's more risky. But I want to keep that clock running, and I want to extend drives. If we can extend drives in this game, then we limit Washington's offense from being on the field. And against our defense, I just don't like the matchup right now. And then you add to that the fact that we have struggled in the red zone. So we need to get that short up. We cannot afford to go inside the 20 and then stall out completely again, or settle for field goals again. We've got to get in the end zone. And getting in the end zone, a big problem with getting in the end zone is when you have no running game that anyone has to even respect. You can't even put a traditional running back on the field for a couple weeks there. Now, James Starks coming back could make a big difference in that. So when you're inside the red zone, and if you have a running game that must be respected at least, it really opens things up for your red zone offense. Makes a big difference. And Johnny's got Jared Cook, 7 catches for 100 yards. I would love to see that. I think that would bode very well for our chances in this game. I think we need him. He had just started getting going. But again, this is the reason, and the same thing with Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb's injured about every year, taking body blow after body blow. And that's part of the reason. You know, we criticize Mike McCarthy for throwing down and out too much. But that's part of the reason is it's lower risk in terms of the personnel, the injuries to the personnel. But we got to play football at this point. I mean, if we don't go out and play football, we're not going to be playing any football very soon. In a few short weeks, we'll be just nursing our wounds and starting back over again. Chris says we need a squirrel to run on the field to make it exciting. I don't know. I think this could be an exciting one. And I have to stand on my stance. And Josh Norman said, called Aaron Rodgers the white, Gandalf the White this week. So I think this is Rodgers' game to play. If it goes into his hands, then one thing we can be sure of is I think it's going to be an exciting game at that point. Now, will we be successful? I won't tell you that until tomorrow. I'm not going to make my prediction until tomorrow. But the other thing is, you realize that Josh Norman he's able to say this because he's confident that he's going to shut down his guy and Aaron Rodgers isn't going to do anything with Jordy Nelson in this game. Or maybe Devontae Adams, but probably Jordy, I would expect. So Josh, he's able to say that because he's had some success on the field. And frankly, I have this concern in the back of my mind, and my son and I were talking about this, that the Packers seem to be making the seasons of teams. Like we made the Vikings look like the greatest team on the planet, and then they go on like a 4-game skid. They're not that good. We make the Titans, we make the Colts. The last thing I want is to make Washington look like geniuses for signing Josh Norman in the offseason. I fear that this could happen. But it's the last thing I want. Now, again, it goes to my statement. Aaron Rodgers, if he gets out there and becomes the Gandalf the White that Norman was talking about, this will definitely then be an exciting game, and we have a chance to win it, I think. Derek says, we always do that, and yeah, it's getting really disappointing. We want to end some team season. Like, we could have put the Colts into a tailspin. We could have put the Atlanta Falcons into a tailspin and garnered a lot of confidence in that game. Johnny says, your show helps me stay upbeat. All right, well, thank you. And guess what? Because I'm starting to get on the down path, and I don't want to do that. People are comparing us to the Browns. No. Yeah, I agree. We don't want to hear that. And this is the week to do it because it's 1 week at a time, period. If Clay Matthews can get on the field and Jared Cook can get on the field, I think this will be big for this team. So maybe we should, I guess I didn't go over the injury report step by step, but we know the guys. Matthews and Cook are the ones we are very much hoping to get back. And if Aaron Rodgers can get out there and start getting connected with Cook, it might take a little bit. However, Cook knows the offense now. He's had a chance. He started to get in sync with Aaron Rodgers before he was injured, and hopefully he can hit the ground running a little bit. If Clay Matthews can get on the field, you know he's going to be rested. Hopefully he's 100% healthy, has no issue with that hamstring, can get after the quarterback. We can see some good things start to happen. This is one of those games, I feel like, one way or the other, this is going to be a grinded-out game, whether it's a low-scoring grinded-out game or a high-scoring sort of shootout type of grinded-out game. I think that this game is going to be a real tough one. We're playing away. These guys are gunning for us. They're seeing red after what we did to them. We knocked them out of the playoffs last year. So they want that opportunity back. And this is a team that played some real good football against a Vikings defense that was considered one of the best in the league. Now, from about week 6 on, they have really fallen off the planet. But I love the program, but who are you? I'm Brady. So Aaron Rodgers gets out there, gets in sync a little bit early. Watch very closely. I'm going to be watching very closely. The very first offensive series of this game is going to be incredibly important. Frankly, at this point, and I'm the kind of guy, if you win the coin toss, I like it that we defer and try to double up, coming back after the half. However, in this game, I would prefer to see our offense on the field to defense. And the reason is I want to tell Aaron Rodgers, listen, we have to get going. We have to get points on the board. We have to get started early and fast. And our defense has tended to play better in the second half than the first. So I have a little better, more positive feeling about our defense coming out in the third quarter if we have to give the ball away because we took it in the first half to get that 3 and out, then putting them on the field early because look at what happened. And Derek's saying, and I completely agree, it starts and ends with pressure on the quarterback. The age-old maxim that the game is won in the trenches is very true. It became a maxim for a reason. But that also calls into question, because look at our offensive line. Our offensive line is going to be piecemeal, I think, at best. Maybe piecemeal isn't the way to say it, because when you think about we lost our starting center, but Corey Linsley, very serviceable, accomplished, veteran. However, and that's why Johnny's saying, got to stop Kerrigan, seriously. It's going to be a rough one. However, I think Aaron Rodgers, like I mentioned, I think yesterday, I think Aaron Rodgers has finally learned the lesson that he's not going to be able to stand back there for 5 to 7 seconds anymore. Get the ball out. And trust the wide receivers. Then the receivers have got to get just enough separation to make completions. That's what we've got to do. If we do that, then what? That draw play is going to be there. So we'll see if we're able to execute. Because, you can sit here and talk about what we should be able to do by the personnel we have, what we need to do. But the thing that bothers me most, and I'm not being negative here, I'm just, you guys can respond to this however you feel. The thing that kind of bothers me most is I keep seeing different individuals in different situations, in different games, and at different times executing poorly on this team. This is what bugs me. Some really good players, like we said earlier, the comment was made, we got weapons too. But the execution is not where it needs to be, and that's what Jordy Nelson has held that party line. He has not wavered from it. And we've got the guys to do it. We just need to execute. We haven't been executing the way we should. Or, like the last few games, we'll see where we execute and move the ball really well, but then we'll either stall out in the red zone or we'll make a major mistake or, and I'm not saying that this game is easy either. It's really hard to do what they're doing out there. But this is the standard. They set that standard because they're good enough to play that well. Bang Jean said, what's up, GPN? So that's the situation we got. Tomorrow it will be Prediction Friday. I need a sip of coffee. I will be posting In fact, I was just uploading it before I got on. I'll be posting my Out of Breath Arms for Packer Minute, the show where I walk around the neighborhood talking about the Packers, and you watch to see if I get struck by a viper, basically. I just walk around the neighborhood and talk about the Packers, and everybody gives me the weirdest looks. It gives you a really narcissistic feeling. It's really uncomfortable, but I like that. I like being comfortable with uncomfortable situations. So jump on greenbaypackernation.com and check it out if you want. All I was talking about was the Kristen Michael signing. So it's short. And here's the thing. John's making a good comment right now. If ifs, ands, and buts were a bag of nuts, we'd be in first place, right? So there's no more. We've got no more chances as far as that. We've got no more. There's no more excuses. There's no more looking down on the back on the coulda, woulda, shouldas at this point. We have to go out and execute against Washington, or we will quickly find ourselves. We're already in third place. We're in this third place, but right in the mix kind of a situation. But we won't even be in the mix if we're not careful here soon. So yeah, Vang's saying it's going to be a make or break Sunday. You can thumbs up if you agree, because I completely agree. You have to, and basically, like I said, every Sunday is a make or break Sunday now. And we got a tough lineup, because we still have the Philadelphia Eagles. We still got the Texans, playoff team. We still got the Seahawks, right? And then we have that run of NFC North at the end of the season. And I think, this could be one of those 7-9 playing the last game of the season. However, if we're not careful, we could see Detroit pull away really quick, and they're out of reach by the time we get to the stretch. Now we play Detroit last game of the season, but we got to play that one away. We could conceivably see the Vikings pull away and be out of reach if we're not careful. So, this will be an important one tomorrow. Chris is asking how I feel about Michael. We talked all about that at the beginning of the show. I like the signing. I don't think that signing is going to be. I don't think that's going to be some kind of miracle cure for what's wrong. The problem with the team is execution, in my mind, and culture to some extent. We don't have enough. We're not going out there with any fire or any pride right now. We're trying to toe this party line of cerebral, just make corrections. Football takes more than that. And then we get out there and we lay an egg against the Titans, and you see the coaching staff almost blame it on, we had too much emotion, so we made mistakes. No, you need to have the right balance. But here's the thing, to answer, Chris, your question, and to review for those, who were here. I like the signing. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's going to be a miracle cure to anything, but I think it could be very important moving forward. And then you look at December at Lambeau Field to have that traditional running game that we've been missing, and I'm not sure Stark's going to bring it for us anymore. So I can't wait. I don't expect against Washington for Michael to be a huge part of the offense. I think they'll trot out on the field. They'll give him an A-gap run or something, maybe a little inside zone or something. I think his 2-foot cut in traffic, he's got good vision, and he's able to get there with his 2-foot cut where he wants to be. He's kind of funny to watch to me, because he's by no means nifty. He's kind of heavy-footed, but yet he can get the job done from time to time. The biggest problem I think he's going to have coming in is the fact that our offensive line has had struggling with some injuries right now. If we could line up our starting offensive line, I think this kid could really make a difference for us. So that question to me, I'm not looking for him to be a huge factor in this week's game, but I think he could be a nice addition and a big help as we go down the stretch. So for this game, I don't see a whole lot happening, but down the stretch, I think he could be important. I like his, the thing I mentioned, I like his attitude, because that's the thing I think we're missing on offense, right? Is just to get in there and be like the last time I felt like the offense was good was probably like the Detroit game. And we were scoring. Jordy Nelson was smiling and pumping the crowd up and had a little bit, obviously, especially on offense, a lot of your emotion you save for after the big play. It's kind of like if you're a hunter, you breathe deep, you stay calm, because you celebrate after you're done. You celebrate when you're successful. But that's the kind of attitude as a running back I think he can bring right on the field during the play, and I think it can be a spark, and we need a spark. Salvatore is saying tie in space just seems like an X factor. Yeah, and at some point defenses are going to figure that out. And so I think Ty Montgomery can have more success if we have a bit of a run. If we have a draw play out of a decent passing offense, but then we also can bring Ty into the backfield. And then on top of that, we can hopefully keep Randall Cobb out of the backfield. Last time we were good was mid last season. Well, I mean, we saw. The first half of it's hard to argue. The first half of Detroit game, we were on fire. In terms of entire games, yeah, we have yet to see one out of this team, frankly. So, I think the key to Michael's success as a Green Bay Packer has as much to do with our offensive line getting healthy. And the fact, because we know that the coaching staff is motivated to balance out this offense right now. I don't think we can do it this week. I think we have to continue to do what we're doing. Get the ball out quick. Let Aaron Rodgers know, listen, this one's on you. You got to be accurate. You got to get the ball out quick. We want it under 3 seconds. You got to trust your receivers. We know Adams has really come on strong. We assume that teams are going to do what they've tried to do, and they're going to understand that Jordy Nelson can beat you at any time. You have to have somebody that can handle him. And if Randall Cobb starts to feel a little better, he can be a weapon. Randall Cobb has been quiet, this year to some extent, but he's constantly fighting injury, and this guy is as tough as nails. If you ever had an AC sprain, I can't imagine trying to play the wide receiver position. I guess you just shoot it full of painkillers as much as you can. But Randall Cobb could come on at any time, and he could be an X factor in this game. So mark my words, I may have him as bold prediction this time around. Because remember, teams are beginning to keep an eye on Davante Adams. They're starting to see this pick your poison, that Davante Adams, Jordy Nelson, but you can't leave Randall Cobb out of the equation, or one of these games he's gonna just go crazy on you. This could be the game. And Johnny's saying, just enough Michael to keep him honest. Well, yeah, and I think depending on how well he picks up the offense, I wouldn't be surprised if it's just enough Starks to keep him honest. And then the question is Starks enough to keep him honest, I guess. But yeah, I think we'll see him a little bit. And you're right. I think if we can have a bit of a run game, a little more balance, plus that's going to keep the clock moving a little bit. I think I'm going to have my eye on the clock. I'm going to have my eye on the very first offensive series in this game. And I'm going to have my eye on that clock. It's going to be interesting to see. So, all right, well, folks, that's going to do it for me today. Tomorrow is Prediction Friday. And I don't know about you, but obviously the team goes out and plays. But if you're a Packer fan, you make a prediction, I think, you're pretty serious about it, right? It's like, man, you think about it, you're careful about it. And then there's those weeks when you're just riding a Packer high, you see in the world in green and gold, and you're like, we're going to kick their butts 54-0, But it'll be interesting. So tomorrow's Prediction Friday, I hope you'll join me. I will be here to talk to you. Same pack time, same pack place. In the meantime, enjoy some football tonight. It's Thursday, and tomorrow's Friday, guys. So the weekend is coming. Packer football is coming up. Hopefully Aaron Rodgers and the crew, Clay Matthews will be back. Jared Cook hopefully back. And we can put together a win against the Washington Redskins. Have a good day. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.